Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody joined with name Kunal. Your full name, Kunal?
Triveni, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Ah,
It's me, sir. Triveni.
okay. I see Kunal new name, so I just wanted to check. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in the last class, we completed about branching strategies, right? That's what we discussed. Today, let's see how we merge the code from one branch to another branch. As we all know, branching and merging is one of the key responsibilities of DevOps engineers. That means, as a DevOps engineer, we only handle all these branches, mergers, and everything. Okay. Say, for example, we have discussed some branching strategies, right? Say this is master, for example. Say you have dev 1.2.5 branch, some branch, okay? 1.2.2, for example. So as we all know, developers commit the code to this particular branch every day, right? So once development is done, what do? We lock the branch and then we merge the code to the master, correct? So how do you merge is what we are discussing today. So for example, you have master, okay? So this is master branch, right? You have some code here, say login.java. When you create a new branch, what will happen? Whatever code we have in the master, same thing comes in dev 1, 2, 3 or whatever branch, correct? So for example, during this 1.5 months, right? Assume that developers created some 50 new files in this particular branch and then modified, say, 100 files, right? And then deleted 10 files. That is a change happened in this particular branch. When we merge this branch into master, what happened to me? So these 50 new files will come here. And then whatever files you have modified, 100 files, those modifications will be propagated to the master. And you deleted 10 files and then 10 files will be deleted in the master. So that means after merge, these two branches become equal. So whatever work you have done in this particular dev 1 to 5, everything comes to the master. That is the result of merging. Okay. So for example, I'll take one file. Okay. So login.java. This is your login.java. Say, okay, login.java. Same file I'm showing you here. Okay. Same file, which is the master, I'm showing you here. So login.java is there. When you create a new branch, same file comes here, correct? So the same login.java comes in dev 1 to 5. Same file, okay? This one. I'm just showing you the same file here. No confusion there. And then, say for example, this is the file, right? Same file comes in 1 to 5. Assume that somebody modifies this particular file in 1 to 5 and then creates a new commit. If you modify, there will be a new commit, right? This is a new file, new commit. So for example, here initially at line number 5, there is something called, there is some code, okay? A is equal to 10. When you create a new branch, same thing comes here, right? A is equal to 10. A is equal to 10, line number 5. Somebody modified the code from A is equal to 10 to A is equal to 20, say, for example, here. A is equal to 10 to 20. That is a change. You understand, right? Harry opens the file, login.java in dev 1 to 5, and then Harry modifies the file from 10 to 20. Assume that that is the only change you have in 1 to 5. Now you are merging this branch. You are merging this particular branch. When you merge, tell me what will happen. What should come in master? So here it was 10. This is the modification, right? 10 to 20. Somebody modified it from 10 to 20. Now we are merging. When you merge, what will happen? Same thing, right? Whatever change you have in 1 to 5, same thing comes here. So that means A is equal to 20. So that is the merge. That's what happens. And this is called as fast forward merge. Fast forward merge means you have one extra commit here, right? When you merge, what will happen? It will just bring that extra commit here. It will just forward this commit from dev1 to 5 to the master. Fast forward merge. You will understand more about that terminology later. So R, you call it as a simple merge. That means there is no issue here. There is no issue. But sometimes during merge, we get into an issue called conflict. We get into issue called conflict. What is that? See this? 1 second. Okay. Let me take another scenario here. Say initially in master branch, okay, there is a file called login.java. At line number 5, right, there is something called a is equal to 10. That is the code you have. So when we create a new branch, same file comes in dev1 to 5, right, a is equal to 10. That means both files are, whatever code you have, same thing is in 1 to 5. Both files are same. Assume that this guy is Harry, okay? Harry modifies this particular file from 10 to 20. Line number 5. Assume that somebody is working on master also. Somebody is working on master also. So this guy is Sally, for example. Sally modifies this particular file from 10 to 30. Understand this? 10 to 30. That means one developer modifies fifth line from A is equal to 10 to A is equal to 30. The another developer in 1 to 5 needs 10 to 20. That means two developers modified the file. One person in 1 to 5, one person in master branch. You may ask a question here, right? So as we discussed, we don't usually directly modify the code in the master, right? We don't directly modify the code in master, correct? But assume somebody is modifying the code in master also, okay? See, sometimes even you don't modify the code directly in master indirectly gets the modifications. Say for example, say you have master, okay? Master. Under master, assume that you have two branches, okay? You create one branch called dev underscore backend for database code. Assume that there is another branch here, dev underscore frontend. So you have some code here. This is the backend code, and this is front-end code. Assume that here you have login.java. Login.java. So here also you'll get the same file, login.java. In this particular branch also you have login.java. Okay. You have a is equal to 10 here. So when you create a new branch, this backend branch, here you will get a is equal to 10, a is equal to 10. Somebody modifies it in this particular branch from 10 to 30, for example. And another person modifies here from 10 to 20, say for example, 10 to 20. Okay. Assume that this development is done. You are merging this particular, file to the master. What will come? Tell me. If you merge this front-end branch to the master, what code will come here? Here it is 30, right? So A is equal to 30. See, your master got the new code, new change. Did you directly modify the code in the master? No, right? Even though we don't directly modify the code in the master is getting some change, correct? Getting some new code here. So assume, right? Somebody modifies the code in master, directly or indirectly, whatever. Assume, okay? As I explained, Even though you don't directly modify the code, sometimes indirectly master will get the changes. So very simple. Age will return, age will return. Both files are same at the time of creating the branch. One way modifies it from 10 to 20, here 10 to 30. Now you are merging the code. Assume that this is the change you have, and then you are merging the code. Can somebody tell me what should be the value here? After merge, what changes will come here? What will happen here?
20 will be there, sir.
Ideally, it will be 20, correct? But is that correct? No. Why? See, if it brings 20, for example, that's what happens ideally. Okay. If you bring 20, what will happen? 30 is overrated by 20, correct? 30 is replaced by 20. That means you are overriding Sally's code. Sally wanted 30, correct? She modified the file login.java from 10 to 30. And after merge, if you bring 20, Sally will ask you the question saying, where is my code? Why you overrided my code? I wanted 30. There's a problem here, correct? So you cannot bring 20 years. No, you cannot bring 20. At the same time, you cannot ignore 20 also. You cannot ignore also, correct? You are merging the code, right? Merging means what? You have to bring this particular, change. So you cannot ignore 20 also. See the conflict now. If you bring 20, Sally's code will be overridden. At the same time, you cannot ignore 20 also. Why? Say, for example, Harry modifies this particular file from 10 to 20. Okay. Harry comes to you saying, hello, DevOps engineer. I have some modifications in Dev 125 branch. Okay. I'm going on vacation. And I know that you will merge the code from you'll merge, 125 branch to the master. Can you make sure that my code, goes to master properly? And say, for example, you are releasing the code from master, assume, or whatever. You say yes, right? When I merge the code, when I merge 125 to master, yes, I'll make sure that your code will be propagated to the master, and I'll make sure of it. So Harry went on vacation thinking, okay, his code will be safely merged to the master. Because Harry wants 20, correct? So Harry wants his code here. So there is a conflict situation here. What is that conflict? So when you merge, right, you cannot override 30 with 20. It's a problem to Sally. If you ignore 20 and then if you just make it 30, then this guy has a problem. This guy will say, where is my code? Why you have not modified my code to the master? Correct. So this is called as conflict situation. This is called as conflict situation. So if Git sees this kind of situation in your code, it will not merge the file. No, it will not merge the file. Why? Git will tell you, okay, if I bring 20, okay, Git understands, okay, that line number 5, Sally wants 30. Line number 5 is modified from 10 to 30. And Harry wants 10 to 20. Harry modified 20, same line. Sally also modified, same line with 30. So Git understands this situation that two different developers want two different, code. So it understands. So it will say, I cannot decide. I cannot take any decision. If I bring 20, right, Sally will blame me. If I ignore 20, Harry will blame me. So I'm not going to merge this particular file. And it will mark that particular file as conflict. It will clearly tell you, okay, this particular file login.java has a conflict, and this is the conflict type. Here it is 30, here it is 20. I cannot decide. So, right, I'm just a tool, right? You decide, and then you make the right code there. So Git will declare that particular file as conflict file. And when there is a conflict in a file, as a DevOps engineer, we have to resolve the conflict. Again, with the help of the developers, because we don't know, right, what code is right there, correct? See this. When there is a conflict, this is how Git shows you the conflict in a file. Login.java, say, for example. Okay. So if you open the file after the merge, I'll show all these things to you. Okay. After the merge, if you open this particular file which has conflict, this is how it looks like. Here it will say A is equal to 30. Okay, it will show you this is master branch. And then here it will show you something like this. Okay, equal to, and here it will say A is equal to 20, greater than, less than. Something like this. These are like just for the decoration. Okay, it will add these 3 lines, this one, this one, this one, just to separate the code which is in the question, separate the code which has the conflict. And here it will tell you it is dev125 code. Okay, so it says in master there is something called in master it is A is equal to 30. In 125 it is A is equal to 20. These 2 lines are in conflict. Git is unable to decide what has to be the line number 5, whether it has to be 20 or 30, it cannot decide. So if you open login.java, you will see conflict like this. And when there is a conflict, what we do? As a developer, we don't know, right, whether it should be 30 or 20. So we'll identify who modified line number 5 here. We'll identify the author, okay, the owner of that change, Sally. And then we'll identify who modified this, Harry. And then we will send one email to Harry and Sally saying, hello, Harry and Sally. In today's merge, I see below conflict. And then you copy paste this. If you open the file, you will get this, right? So you copy paste this and then send them. Say, during today's merge, I see below conflict, and I could find that this is your change and this is your change, Harry and Sally. Please tell me what should be the code here, whether it has to be 30 or 20 or something else. They will tell you. And once they confirm, assume that they say, make it say 25. They both will discuss, Harry and then Sally, and then they decide to make it A is equal to 20. In that case, what do? We remove this line, we remove this extra line, and then we'll make it 25. So here we'll make it 25. We say, we call this as conflict resolution. See, you are not silently, overriding anybody's change here. Both developers are consciously, it's a conscious decision from the both developers, and they both agree, right? Or sometimes they say, I don't mind line number 5, it can be anything. In that case, we'll bring 20, right? Or sometimes Harry will say, I'm okay with 30, so make it 30 or something else. So developers know what is the right code, and then we will, once based on the developer's input, we will change that. So that means conflict is resolved. So this is called as merge with conflict merge. The earlier one, I called it as what? Fast forward merge, correct? Means what? You have master, under master there is some branch. Here you have A is equal to 10, right? When you create a new branch, you will get A is equal to 10. Somebody modifies it from 10 to 20, and then there is nobody, there is no change here. So you'll just bring 20 here, because it's only one developer who modified it, right? There is no clash. But in this case, there's a clash between Sally and then Harry. So this is called a fast forward merge. It will just bring this commit here, fast forward merge. But in this case, it's a conflict merge. It's not a fast forward merge. It's not just that simple. So when conflict occurs, if two developers modify the same file in source branch and then target branch, you can call it the source branch because we are merging from here to here, right? Source, this is source branch and the target branch. If two developers modify the same file in source and target branch, and if the same line has a different content, same file, same line has a different content. If it is the same file, right? If two developers modify the same file in source and target branch, right? And if the same line has a different content, then Git cannot decide what should be the right value, and we call the situation as conflict. So when conflict occurs, if two developers modify the same file in source and target branch, and if the same line has a different content, then it's a conflict. Remember, if two developers modify the file, if there is a change in master and they want to fix, then only conflict occurs. But you are modifying the code only in 1 to 5 and you are merging, it will just propagate that. It will just bring that change here. That's not a conflict. Understand what is merge? Then when we get the conflict, any questions about this? Any questions about
Sir,
this?
sir, is it only possible, like if one person should be in master?
Sorry, is it coming?
Yes, sir. It's Rajat here. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, Rajat.
Yeah. So is it only possible when one users already committed the file in the master?
1 second, Rajat, 1 second. Sorry for the long pause. Rajat, can you come again?
Sure, sure. It's only can possible if already someone is committed the file in master, then only it will be that complete is happen.
Yeah. So if somebody modifies the code in and commit in the master, and if somebody modifies the same file here and commit in 1 to 5, then only you will get the conflict.
Okay, okay, sir.
Mhm. Okay. So now let's see how we merge. Okay. See this. So this is our remote repository. Say this is our remote repository. Assume that you have two branches. One is master, one is the 1 to 5. I'm explaining how we merge one branch into another branch. So who merges the code in real time? That is DevOps engineer. So this is you, DevOps engineer. Assume that we created a 1 to 5 branch for a new release, and developers modified a lot of code here. There are a lot of commits, and we lock the branch, right? Once the development is in, and then once development is in, we lock the branch, right? And then we merge the code from 1 to 5 to master, correct? We merge the code from 125 to the master, right? So once development is complete, then developers will send an email to us saying, hello DevOps team, we are done with the development. Okay, we are done with the development. Can you merge the code from 125 to master? They'll say you can go with the merging. And when do we merge? Once testing is complete. We also take the sign off from the testing team, because merging means what? We are bringing the code from 125 to the master, right? And the code should be stable here, correct? The tester will send email saying, okay, we are good with the code, right? And it is safe to move the code from 125 to the master. So then only we will do the merge. So you received an email saying, okay, you received an email to merge 125 into master. So how do you merge? So this is our master or main branch. This is dev 1.2.5 branch, whatever. Okay. So we are merging the code. So this branch is created from dev 125 is created from master, correct? Right? Okay. So if you want to merge the code, merging process. If you want to merge the code, first step is what? You have to clone the repository. That's the first step. Where merge is happening? In your laptop, DevOps in its laptop. Okay. And we know this, right? So when we clone, what will happen? Whatever code we have in the remote repository, same thing comes in our local repository, correct? This is your .git. This is master. This is your dev 125. We know this. Simple, right? This is your source area. This is your staging area. Clear with this? Here you have login.java, for example. When you create a new branch, same login.java comes here, correct? So here you have login.java. Here you have login.java. Whatever code you have in the remote repository, same thing comes in your laptop. That's what happens, right? Okay. So first we clone the repository. Then we do the merge. And we know, right? First time when you clone, by default, it will give you the code from which branch?
Main branch.
Main branch, correct? That is master or main. So here you have login.java. That's what happens when you clone the repository. Done. And remember, this login.java is from, master. If you have 10,000 files, you'll see 10,000 files in the source area, right? Okay. Then, so after clone, we do the merging. Merge dev 1.2.5 with master using a command called git merge and then branch name. This is the command we use. Git merge dev 1.2.5. That is the command we use. Git merge dev 1.2.5. This is what happens now. Go on mute. So clone is done. You get login.java here, right? Now you are running this command git merge 1.2.5. When you run git merge 1.2.5, what will happen? It will bring this file now, dev 1.2.5, git merge 1.2.5, right? So it will bring this particular login.java into the source area. Okay. And then you have an existing file, right? Already. This file is from master, right? Main branch, correct? So it will bring this login.java and then it will merge with this one. It will merge with this. So you will be having one file which is merged one. Merge means combine. You combine login.java and then login.java of master and then login.java of 1 to 5. So you are combining both the files. You are merging the code. And here you will see the merged file. You will see merged file. Simple, right? That's all. So for example, you have another file here. Okay. Say pum.xml file. Some file. Okay, something wrong. So for example, here you have pum.xml file. Here you have pum.xml file. So when you clone, you will get login and then pum.xml file, right? When you run git merge command, what will happen? It will merge login.java with login.java, pum.xml file with pum.xml file. So basically, you will be having the merged code here. If you have, it may be, if you have say 1,000 modified files, 1,000 files will be merged. It's always file to file. Login.java master with login.java 1 to 5. It's like that. Let's take that scenario now. Okay. Say here you have a is equal to 10, right? So somebody modified from 10 to 20, say for example. Here somebody modified from 10 to 30, say for example. Here you have a is equal to 10, right? Line number 5. Now, when you do the merge, what will happen? It will bring, and then at line number 5, it has to actually make it 30, correct? But it cannot override the code, right? So it will show that particular file as conflict file. Run it. Okay, so here it is 10, and then here it is a is equal to whatever. So if there is any conflict, you will see the file as conflict file here. So the fifth step is resolve if there are any conflicts. You have to do that. Resolve if there are any conflicts. So where do we resolve the conflict? Assume that you have login.java conflict here. So you have to resolve it. That means you open the file. So when you open the file, you will see something like this, right? Correct. So we open the file in the source area. We ask, so when you open the file, you'll see the conflict code here. Okay. And we'll identify the owner of the lines, which is in which are in conflict. And then they will tell us, okay, make it 25, for example, a is equal to 25. So we'll make the change here. So we call that as conflict resolution. We resolve the conflict, and then sixth step, commit the merge. And then, so we will commit this login.java to master. So what we have just done. So you have login.java. Okay, your login.java from the master, right? Initially, see, we are bringing this particular file. Follow the pen. We are merging in the source area. So you have the merged code, and then you're committing the merged file to master. That means indirectly you are bringing this code and then committing it to master. Correct? That's what is happening, right? So you have initial file from the master, right? You are bringing this particular file you are combining, you have the merged code, right? This is the merged one, right? And then you are committing it. That means what? You are indirectly bringing this code here. So that means this code is merged to the master main branch. So that's what happens. And seventh step is just push it. Push it to the remote repository. When you push, what will happen? Tell me. So you have brought this code here, right? So when you push, what will happen? Same code goes to the remote repository. That means this branch is merged. That means whatever code you have, right? You brought that code here, and then same thing goes to the master. Simple. Okay. It is just that simple. Understand this process? Any questions you have before I show you this? Any questions about this?
Sir, little confused, sir. In the beginning part, only little confused. Like when we merged that dev 1.25 that code, right?
Hmm.
So I'm just little confused over there. Like what exactly happened after cloning the?
You mean here? Once you clone?
Yes.
Okay. See, when you clone, what happens? Whatever code we have in the remote repository, same thing comes in our local repository, Rajat, correct?
Yes.
Say this is the remote repository. Okay. In remote repository, you have two branches. One is main, and then one is dev 1 to 5. You know this, right? This is main
Yes.
branch, our master, and then this is dev 1 to 5 branch. We know how to create a new branch, right? So whenever we go for the new release, we create a new branch, correct? So dev 1 to 5 is a copy of main master. This is the code you have in the remote repository, right? When you clone, what will happen? We know that whatever code we have in the remote repository, everything comes in our local repository, right? So here you have two branches. You will get two branches here. One is main and the one is dev 1 to 5. So here you have whatever code you have in main, it will show. And then whatever code you have in dev, it will show you. This is what happens. And then we know, right? So by default, once the clone is done, it will show you the code from which branch, Rajat? Master branch. So here you have
Yes.
whatever code you have in this branch is nothing but a folder, right? Whatever code you have in this folder, it will show you in the source area. So this is what happens in after once you clone the code. You have any specific question here, Rajat? What was your confusion?
No, sir. The question is like this much I understand. Okay.
Hmm.
So what happened after that? Like when the dev branch will be like come for modification or add for the
No,
commit.
we do the merge once the development is done, correct? So we do the merge. There are a lot of commits here, for example, right? We lock the branch, right? We lock the branch. So once we lock the branch, people cannot modify the code here. So once we lock the branch, then we merge the code. So when we merge what will happen, whatever code we have, whatever work we have done in this particular 1 to 5, everything comes to the master. Question, Rajat?
So then why we took the master code in the source area then? We will copy that branch code on to the source, right?
You have to merge, right? We have to merge, no? Merge means what? This is login.java, this is master login.java, and this is dev. You have to combine these two files, right? So what
Yes.
we are doing, we are taking the master one in the source area, and then we are bringing this one. So you are combining both, and there's a merge. So you have to merge means we have to combine both the files, right? Master login.java with dev. So that is the reason we are taking master initially, and then we are bringing this, and then we are merging it.
Okay. So one by one, first we'll take the master in the source area. Then whatever modification we done in the dev, that also we'll take it in the source, and then we'll merge it in the source.
Correct. So it will automatically bring this, and then it will merge, and then it will show you the merged file. If you open the source area, right? If you go to the source area, you will see the merged file here. You're right.
Okay. And one more question, sir. You will ask update you need two persons permissions. So if I this is happen in my local repository, so how come other fellow can uh, get approval or something like that? How like this is like it will send an email or like our own communications or what?
We'll send email. That means you, Rajat, as a DevOps engineer. So you send email to Harry and Sally saying, okay, I'm doing the merge in my laptop, right? This is the code, right, which is in the config. And I could see this line is modified by you and this line is modified by you. Please, you both discuss and tell us what should be the right code. We send an email.
Okay, it just Git will show us like this is the changes done by this person and this is the done from your end. And for this is the conflict happened, and to fix this issue, you have to drop like we have to discuss among ourselves.
Correct. I'll show that to you, that conflict line also.
Okay.
See this. So now, if I have to show you conflict merge, then I should first create that scenario in the repository, correct? If no, you don't have change here, then here, we cannot see the conflict, right? So shall I first create the conflict situation, like how developers modify the code in real time? Shall we modify? So how do you create the situation? Tell me. So I'll take some file, okay? Any file you can take. And then in master, some line, okay? Say line number 5, make it 10. And then you create a new branch, like in real time. So here also you will get 10, correct? And then you go to master branch and then change it from 10 to 30, like a developer. Again, you go to dev 1 to 5 branch, like another developer, change it from 10 to 20. So here it should be 30, here it should be 20. And then you merge, you'll see the conflict. So shall I create this scenario first? Okay. So let's go to our repository. See, until we merge, right? Until we see the conflict, we don't know whether there's a conflict situation or, without conflict, merge will happen or what, we don't know, right? So I'll go to our repository. If you had practiced all the commands that we discussed so far, you'll be able to make the changes. Git branch. Okay. Let me take a fresh clone. I'm not explaining the merge, okay? I'm not explaining merge, right? I'm like developers, I'm modifying the code. I need to have this scenario. Remember, it's not about I'm not showing the merge. I'm a developer, okay? Git clone faculty 7.1. Okay. Let me take some file. I'll try to write some actual code, okay? Static void main string args, something like that. Okay, say for example, I'll call it as I. Tell me how to print numbers from 10 to 1 to 10. 0, I less than or equal to 10, say for example, I plus plus. Say I have something like this. Out dot println. Something like this. I just want to have some real code, okay? So here it is 10, okay? Assume this is the code you have. Some code. Don't worry about the code. So when you practice, just write something like a is equal to 10, a is equal to 20, a is equal to 30, a is equal to 40. Just make sure you have some 10 lines. Okay. So git branch, I'm in main. Okay. I'm a developer. Git add, git commit -m. Print numbers. Okay. 10 numbers, for example. Print numbers 1 to 10, whatever. Git push. Clear. So when you practice, make sure that you have some content in, master. Okay. You have some content in some file. Now I received an email saying, okay, please create a new branch for 125 release. What do? We create a new branch, correct? So I'm going to create a new branch. Git branch. How do you get a new branch? 2.5. Okay. Git branch. Git push. How do you get push the newly created branch to the remote repository? Git push origin branch. I'm not doing the merge. Okay. I'm just creating that scenario. Okay. Right. Git branch. Fine. So what is the situation in the repository now? So there was a file in master. We just created a new branch. Now you have a is equal to 10 here. Same thing comes in 1 to 5, right? So like in developers, like in real time, right? Like how developers modify. Shall we modify the code now? Okay. I'll modify the file in the master from 10 to 30. Here I'll modify from 10 to 20. Okay. See, I'm on main now. Okay. So Sally, okay, I'm Sally now. Sally is modifying the code from 10 to 20, for example. What is it example you have taken? 30, right? Okay. In master, 30. Sally wants to print 30 numbers now. 30 says Sally wants 30 somewhere. Sally modified from 10 to 30. Sally is committing the code. Git commit -m. She says, I need 30. Now git push. Sally's code is in the master now. 10 to 30. Now Harry comes. Harry is modifying the code in 1 to 5, say for example. Okay. Now I am Harry. Okay. Git branch. See, I'm modifying the code in 1 to 5. You know how to modify the code in a particular branch, right? Git checkout. There 1 to 5. Git branch. See, I'm in 1 to 5 branch now. This is 1 to 5 branch code. So Harry, it was 10, right? Harry is modifying the file from 10 to 20. Okay. See, both developers are working on the same project, right? One person wants 20, another person wants 30. Harry is committing. Git commit -m. Okay. Harry says, I need 20. Git push. See, if you are committing something first time in a newly created branch, we just created this branch newly, right? And first time when you commit, you have to run this command. Just copy paste it. Only first time, okay? Git merge. Sorry for a lot of pauses today. If any guest come, we have a pet actually. That guy will shout like anything. So check out status. Okay, so we have just created the scenario, right? So here it is 30, here it is 20. Now we are ready to do the merge. And if you do the merge now, right? So how do you do the merge? We have to clone, right? And assume that there is some change. We don't know, right? So only after merging only, we'll come to know if there are any conflicts. Okay. So now we are all set. We have that scenario in the remote repository. Now that means you created a new branch and then you modified something here. Okay. So you have some code in master, you have some code in 1 to 5. Okay. And then now you receive an email saying, okay, please merge 1 to 5 to the master. So now we have to do the merge. I'll explain this to you tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow you will get the exact clarity. Okay. How much will happen? I'll show you the config. I'll execute all these commands and show it. We cannot finish this topic today. So tomorrow I'll show all this practically. Okay. Until then, if you still have any confusions, go through today's class recording. Okay. And come up with questions in tomorrow's class. Clear? Any questions you have?
The site is not working, so unable to access the recording.
There was some issue in the website today. We are trying to fix it. I think by tomorrow it should be ready.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good night.